Multiple sources are stating that Vince McMahon has moved on following his resignation from TKO in January. NBC News reports that McMahon has kept busy in recent months by traveling and seeing friends, including former US President Donald Trump. Vince and Trump are said to keep in touch regularly but do not discuss their legal problems with each other. In addition to Trump, McMahon is also said to have been in touch with both John Cena and The Rock since resigning from TKO. A spokesperson for Janelle Grant later told Brandon Thurston, "It's shameful that Mr. Johnson and Mr. Cena would associate themselves with an individual with decades of allegation just like Janelle's. Behind the scenes support is louder than any public statement ever could be." People close to Vince say that he has been cooperating with authorities regarding the federal criminal investigation into allegations of sex trafficking. Vince believes he will not be charged criminally regarding the matter and that a settlement will be reached in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. However, a spokesperson for Grant's attorney says there have been no settlement talks. Vince is said to have not had any contact with WWE or TKO management since resigning. Sources say Vince has had no contact with son-in-law Paul Triple H Levesque or daughter Stephanie McMahon regarding company matters. It was noted that Triple H and Stephanie declined to comment on the story. Multiple sources state Vince has kept up his other routines and has seemingly been unfazed by the legal matters he faces. One source connected to the story said, if anything, he's enjoying his life. In late March, Vince McMahon is said to have taken a trip. According to a person close to Vince, he returned with a puppy and 7 kittens that he brought back to give to friends. He is also said to often travel from Connecticut to Manhattan, where he gets bi-weekly haircuts, works with his personal trainer, and dines with friends. Earlier this month, Vince's trainer, Michael A. Monteforte, posted to social media regarding Vince not being able to attend WrestleMania this year, writing, "Vince McMahon was unable to attend his first WrestleMania. How quickly people forget that without his vision, there would be no wrestling or WrestleMania. Sadly, when a person is down, the people who say they love you turn their backs on you." Vince McMahon's lawyer, Jessica Rosenberg, was reached for comment but only issued a statement denying the accusations in Janelle Grant's lawsuit. To which she said the lawsuit claims are false, defamatory, and entirely without merit. "We intend to vigorously defend Mr. McMahon and are confident that he will be vindicated." The lawyer representing Janelle Grant, Ann Kellis, responded with the following statement. Vince McMahon raped, trafficked, and physically assaulted Janelle Grant as part of his decades-long normalization of treating women within the WWE as objects. He might have thought that Janelle would just walk away, but that wishful thinking couldn't be further from the case. She then went on to say that every day they are focused on adding to their mountain of evidence and speaking with other victims as well as experts in order to prepare to litigate the case. McMahon could soon have no association with TKO Group Holdings or WWE at all. His remaining 8 million shares in the company were made available to be sold on Friday. Additionally, WWE has looked into Ronda Rousey's claims regarding Drew Gulak. During an appearance on News Nation earlier this month, Ronda accused Drew Gulak of inappropriately pulling on her pant drawstrings backstage at a WWE event in 2022. He later claimed he inadvertently touched her drawstring while trying to reach to shake her hand. Our own Brian Alvarez wrote to his subscribers on X that WWE investigated Ronda's claims and interviewed people about what happened. While the results of the investigation have not been disclosed, Drew Gulak has been removed from WWE programming. On this week's NXT, it was implied that in storyline, the No Quarter Catch crew approached Tony D'Angelo's family to take care of Drew Gulak, which may have been WWE's way of writing him off television. He had been with the company since 2016, taking part in the Cruiserweight Classic. On to our next story. If CM Punk paid for his own tricep surgery, AEW head Tony Khan said he was surprised to hear it and offered to reimburse his former star if so. Tony spoke to the media for an hour today to promote Sunday's AEW Dynasty. Tony was asked about CM Punk's claims during a recent interview that he had to take care of all aspects of the triceps injury he suffered at September's 2022 All Out, and whether AEW had a policy to cover any medical expenses for their talent. Tony Khan said they typically cover those expenses for injuries suffered in AEW and would be surprised to hear if they didn't do that for Punk. It didn't sound accurate to him, and he offered to reimburse him if that was the case. Tony Khan was asked about Wednesday's story regarding Nyla Rose and a warning issued by the Oklahoma Athletic Commission, saying he was unaware of any issue, didn't think AEW or Nyla Rose did anything wrong, and was disappointed by their stance. He said transgender people have rights and both he and the company stand behind Nyla Rose. When asked about how they would handle future dates in states with similar regulations, Tony Khan was non-committal about not running those states or leaving Nyla off of those shows, saying he is looking forward to their 2024 schedule and will take everything under consideration with this developing situation. Some additional notes from the media call include Tony Khan acknowledged and leaned into the $2 billion valuation by Forbes that came out today, saying AEW is the most valuable sports startup since the AFL, which eventually merged with the NFL. He said the upcoming media rights deal is the most important thing for the company and that pay-per-view growth is also important. Tony Khan also said they are up year over year when comparing first quarters, crediting more shows, higher pay-per-view revenue, and increased media rights. He also expects the availability of his full library to be part of the next media rights deal he signs. Additionally, the Young Bucks believe Jack Perry is wrestling's next breakout star. Jack Perry, who appears destined to return to AEW shortly, received a mixed but passionate reaction in Chicago for Windy City Riot on Friday. His match with Shota Umino took place 2 days after security footage of his altercation with CM Punk backstage at AEW All In aired on Dynamite. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson said Perry has an edge and swagger to him now, coming off of his run in New Japan Pro Wrestling with the House of Torture. They believe all the controversy involving what happened at All In has given him a chip on his shoulder. Nick Jackson said he's been the next breakout star for a while now and he just needed something controversial to happen to him to open people's eyes. It happened with us early in our careers too. Regarding AEW's decision to air the security footage from AEW All In, the Bucks say they have no regrets regarding their part in the segment. Matthew Jackson reiterated previous storyline comments made about the segment, saying it was important for them to tell the fans why they lost to FTR in Wembley that night. Additionally, Tony Khan thought it made a lot of sense to air the All In footage. Speaking to Chris Russell, Tony Khan said airing the Jack Perry CM Punk altercation from last year's All In plays into the FTR Young Bucks match that will take place at AEW Dynasty this coming weekend. Tony Khan also commented on the reaction Jack Perry received at New Japan this past Friday, saying it was fascinating to see after that tape played the reaction that Jack Perry got at New Japan Pro Wrestling this week. He got the reaction of a superstar. That is not altogether unexpected, and it's something very interesting, perhaps a side effect of this. Jack Perry already is a big star in wrestling. Really, the way the crowd connected with him in Chicago, that was interesting to see. That's a wrap for this episode of The Latest. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.